right? Welcome back to the Gym Business Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined in studio today by Randy Angston. What's happening?
Good morning.
We're out here in these streets.
Doing it.
Guys, a couple episodes ago, we talked about a price raise. We talked about, we're going to give you a little sneak peek and behind the scenes of what our price raise was all about. And we got some information. We got some news back. And before we get into it, we want to talk about like the fact that most people don't raise prices because they're nervous about losing clients.
Yep.
Right. And a lot of times they'll kind of half step into a price raise where they'll grandfather everybody in, and then all the new people coming in kind of go up. And it's always your intention that, you know, someday we'll get everybody up to the same price, but then years go by and here we are. You got 17 different price points and grandfathered in and military discounts and family plans. And it's just a mess. And so what we tried to do a couple years back is just keep everybody on the same plan. And it really was, in my opinion, mostly because I wanted the reporting to be really clean. How many people in this membership, how many people in this membership, how long they stay in, It's very difficult to do that when you don't, you got to in between prices, right? And so we took a look at our numbers and it was time for a price raise. We hadn't done it in a few years, and, we were trying to hold on to that price point that was just below $100 per week. And so we stuck to that $99 a week kind of format because it was just so easy to sell. Mm-hmm. Just like, $19.99, and all that stuff. So, just for kind of reference, we were unlimited annual semi-private training is $99 a week. It's no freezes, all this stuff. So we decided we're going to take it to $109.99. So that's a $10 a month increase, $10 a week increase, and that was what we decided to do. We also have another membership that went to $139.99 a week, and so far so good. I'll give you some data here in a second. But if you look back at like weekly versus monthly cadence, we really didn't get any kickback on the price increase. And we started thinking about why. Why is that? Well, number one, we believe we bring a great product. It's undervalued even at the higher price. And that's what you kind of always want to be. You always want to be like over delivering for the price so people can see the value. If you're overcharging for what you deliver, then people leave. So we want to always over deliver for what we're charging. And when it came down to it, everybody looked at it as hey, it's just a $10 a week increase, or really just a $10 increase is what they see.
Yeah.
So they don't really think too hard about it. And, the honest truth is it's actually $40+ a month, right? Mm-hmm. And so you start thinking, well, if we were to have like raised it $40, would that have raised more eyebrows? And I have to assume it would have. Sure. Because it's a higher number, even though it's literally the same thing. Our weekly pricing has helped us defend pretty easily without any pushback whatsoever. The price increase because it was such a small number. Now, again, going back to the whole kind of like fear thing, this is what you guys worry about, and we did too. But when I did the math, again, everything's data driven here. I looked at the increase. I looked at what we were kind of making per month already. And I was like, we could lose about 23, 24 members and really be in the same place financially. And we didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
We didn't lose anybody. So it just hit on March 1st. It's like middle of March now. We've had a couple payment cycles and really just everybody's like, cool, no problem, not a big deal. So that one decision will net us over the next 12 months, over 6 figures in additional gross and net revenue, because it's going to go to the bottom line.
Right to the bottom line, yeah.
Right? Because we're already in a profit. So the good news is this. Usually the hesitation for a gym owner not to raise rates really isn't true. It's like in your head, if you think about it, right? And sure, you're going to get some squeaky wheels. You're going to get some people like, hey, you know what? I've been here for XYZ. And at some point you have to understand, like, hey, you know what? I've increased my value over the last 5 years, and you're still on a 5-year-old plan. Like Mrs. Johnson, we've got to raise your rates to, what everybody else is paying.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it when it comes to the fear. And it's always the fear of the numbers of members, right? It's not, if you looked at the potential gain, you probably wouldn't feel the same way about it. Mm-hmm. But even at that, 24 members. You know, that's a ton of people that you could lose and still be
Same place.
net neutral. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so like that's the biggest thing. And we use that example a lot when it comes to kind of mitigating fear, right? It's an emotional response.
It's one of our
You're-
frameworks.
Yeah, absolutely, right? You apply logic to the situation, look at it through a logical lens, and it helps mitigate that. And I have this conversation with clients quite often. I mean, in our coaching program, this is almost a weekly conversation. And it's amazing how many gyms do hold on to old pricing, legacy pricing, or just remain where they're at year after year after year because they're afraid of losing clients.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and of course, I mean, the relationships hurt. You know, it does suck when you do lose some people. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that what is the premise of the business, and it's to run a profitable business, and a business that serves not only your clients but your coaching team and you as the owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't do it when you're bootstrapped. You can't do it when you have no cash flow. You can't. You know, how many more people can you go and serve if you're chasing from behind every month, trying to just keep your head above water? And so the logic to me is the thing that takes you through, helps dissolve that fear,
Yeah.
and put you in the right position. I mean, to your point, you continually, your team is being educated. You're probably paying some form of continued education for your team every year.
Yeah.
At what point can you consider all of those things when it comes to the decision to raise your
Yeah.
prices? You have to.
Yeah. And, the extra revenue we're going to be making out of this decision is going to flow to the coaching staff because we've got, a great team. They're doing a hell of a job. This is probably one of the best teams. Like, you get teams that kind of come and go. One
Sure.
person leaves, one person comes on, and like this kind of core group's been with us for several years now, and it feels pretty good. Like everybody's hitting on the same cylinders. I feel, Jolie's in a great spot and all the team and everything. So like that's just going to roll down and be able to keep our coaches longer, which is, in the grand scheme of things, again, going back to Joey Coleman, that's where we need to be putting our attention, is keeping your employees as long as possible, right? People are going to move on, whatever, but like make sure it's a great place to work. People love it. They're not, oh, great, it's Monday,
Yeah.
You hate that feeling. You hated it when you were, working wherever you were working. You hate the Mondays. I love Mondays. I hope these coaches love Mondays too. It's just, we got a great environment in here, and that's just really what the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is create a great environment for our staff and for our clients and for yourself. So this is like the trifecta. You most likely are undercharging. I don't know if many people overcharging. Let's put it to you that way.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There's not many people like, man, I charge so much money, but it's really at the top of my market and I couldn't get a penny more because I'm just at the top. I don't think that's mostly the case. You may be top in your market, but you're probably undercharging still.
And one of the things that comes up quite often is like, oh, I don't think the people in my area can afford it, or the fear of, can I find people? You have to remember, right? Like you could have a town of 10,000 people. You need 200 to have a really successful business.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking fractional. I mean, we've worked with A, B, C markets, and I actually think that the B and C markets have the greater opportunity.
Yeah, less competition,
less market saturation when it comes to ads, all of the things.
Mhm.
And we've said it probably as long as the podcast has been around. I'd rather be the top, the most expensive, highest valued service in the area than play somewhere in the middle and just play the competition game.
Yeah, that's no man's land. So listen, guys, the real key here is twofold. Number one is the weekly pricing allowed us to, make us, a relatively simple increase. It exponentially, grows over the month, right? And that was the first thing. If you're not on weekly pricing, there's something you should look at. Why do we do weekly? I mean, there's probably 5 reasons, but the 2 major ones is that, it usually aligns with your frequency of training. We're unlimited, but at a point in time, we had a 2 and a 3x per week. And what happened was when we were billing monthly, it was like, what happens on that little like one-off extra week of the month where somebody's getting an extra session, they're getting 9 sessions instead of 8, and it's like this big mess. Mitigated all that. Number 2, it's very easy to sell.
Yeah.
But there are some cons to it. We can talk about it in another episode. Like the weekly pricing is a con. Now, if you're not like ready to go weekly, there's a bi-weekly option and there's a 28-day cycle option too that basically gets you to the same end result. If you're on a 28-day cycle, then that $10 a week increase is a really $40, right? So you're
Sure.
saying, hey, we're increasing rates by $40 a month, and oh well, I can't afford it now, right? All of a sudden, so like those are the kind of the reasons why it was pretty smooth. And I've talked to enough clients in the last couple of weeks after a rate, they don't care, they know it.
Sure.
They expect it. Every other industry is allowed to raise rates without any pushback, really. And fitness is like that one industry. It's like you can't do it sometimes, and you get a lot of kickback. So I get it. I don't like it, and I don't think it's right.
Correct.
But I understand where you're all coming from, because I've been in the industry as long as most of you listening, so I get it, right? You have these fears, and you do hear it. Yeah, I'm just not going to be able to afford it. Okay, we understand. We're not for everybody, right? And so the big kicker, and again, it's a math equation, and I'll spit it out real quickly. If you got a pen and paper, here's what you do: you take what you're making now. Okay, let's just say you're making $30,000 a month. Again, I'm not going to do the math, so don't worry about it. And our prices are I don't know, $100 a week, right? $99 a week, and we're going to go to 109 a week, right? All you do is you take your monthly revenue, like if you take that 109 and you multiply it by 4.33, that's what you're really collecting in a given month. You divide that new number into your $30,000 of what you were making, and it's going to give you a number of members. And let's just say, it's 60 members, and you had 75 to get you to the current 30. Well, you can lose 15 members and still be in the same place, and that's the number. So when you do take a loss or 2 losses or 5 losses because people cannot afford it, or you didn't communicate it well enough,
Sure.
I don't see the value here anymore. When 5, 6, 7 people walk out of the door, you're unaffected, because we're still ahead in the long run. And it's not the number of members, it's the revenue per month. So hopefully that helps you guys kind of get your mind right around like doing this. Go raise your rates, guys. Charge what you should be charging in your market. And let that flow downhill to the coaching staff, and it's okay to make some money, guys. This is, we're trying to be here for the long haul. This is not a 1 year, 2 year operation. You want to be here for a decade. So hopefully go do this.
And we're coming into the months where I would recommend it. We've talked about it in the past, like,
Yeah.
don't shake it up in January 1st when, and again, we're now through that, right? But I would say like beginning of Q2, maybe Q3, before we get back into the kind of bread and butter months in Q4.
I would say early Q2 to early Q3 would be it. That would be the time to leverage a price raise. Again, every market's a little different. Sometimes your summer months are people are gone, so it's kind of hard to do then too. So it's just, for us, it was perfect timing, March 1st. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode. Hopefully that helps you guys. I just want to give you kind of a feedback. It's a 7-figure. It was a 6-figure decision to the business, top and bottom line. Went over fairly smoothly. And for all the reasons we just spoke about. And guys, it's time. So go raise your rates. Let us know how you do. That's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.